He was the man who made the world laugh, but behind the camera, Mel Brooks had a dark side few people knew about. He was known for his funny movies and sharp sense of humor, but even legends have people they cannot stand. Some actors crossed the line with him through betrayal, ego, or creative fights. Mel did not always forget or forgive. This story is not just about dislike. It is about deep emotions, hurt feelings, and the names he never wanted to work with again. These are the actors Mel Brooks truly hated, and the reasons might surprise you. Before we dive into video, please subscribe our channel. Before Mel Brooks became a Hollywood legend, he lived a hard and painful life. Born as Melvin Kaminsky in 1926 in Brooklyn, New York, he grew up in a poor Jewish family. His father died of tuberculosis when Mel was only 2 years old. This loss affected him deeply and left a hole in his heart that never fully healed. His mother worked hard to raise 4 sons on her own, often going without food so her children could eat. Mel would later say that humor became his shield, a way to survive the sadness that surrounded him. Growing up in a tough neighborhood, Mel faced bullying and anti-Semitism. But even then, he found ways to make people laugh. Laughter was his superpower, even when life felt hopeless. At the age of 17, Mel joined the U.S. Army during World War II. He served as a combat engineer, defusing landmines and using comedy to keep his fellow soldiers strong during dark times. The war changed him. It made him stronger, but it also left scars, memories of danger, loss, and fear. After the war, Mel started writing comedy for television. But breaking into the industry was not easy. Many people told him he was too loud, too wild, or too Jewish for mainstream success. He was rejected again and again, but he never gave up. Slowly, through hard work and creativity, he made his name in the world of comedy. Even though Mel became famous, his early pain stayed with him. He often used comedy to hide his sadness. He smiled for the world but carried deep struggles inside. That pain may be one reason why, when someone betrayed or disappointed him, he did not forget. It hurt him deeply and sometimes turned into lifelong hate. Now we talk about 7 actors he disliked the most. Number 1. Frank Langella. Frank Langella was a talented actor, known for his strong voice and serious roles. But when he and Mel Brooks crossed paths, things did not go well. Mel had high hopes for working with Frank. He believed Frank could bring power and presence to the screen. However, it quickly became clear that their personalities clashed in a big way. According to people who worked with them, Frank often acted like he knew better than everyone else, even the director. He questioned Mel's ideas, rewrote his own lines without asking, and even tried to control the way scenes were filmed. Mel, who loved freedom and creativity but still expected respect on his sets, was shocked by Frank's attitude. Mel once told a close friend that working with Frank felt like wrestling with a brick wall. No matter how Mel tried to guide the performance, Frank pushed back. He wanted to lead, not follow. For Mel, who had spent years building a space where actors trusted his vision, this was a painful experience. Their conflict reached a point where Mel stopped inviting Frank to projects. He felt Frank's ego was too big and that his arrogance ruined the joy of creating comedy together. Mel believed that films should be fun behind the scenes, not a constant fight. Although he never made a public statement about it, those close to Mel knew Frank Langella was one actor he truly disliked, and he never looked back after that experience. Number 2. Gene Wilder. Gene Wilder and Mel Brooks made movie magic together. They gave us unforgettable films like Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles. On screen, their chemistry was perfect. Off screen, though, things were not always so smooth. In fact, their friendship once faced a serious test that almost ended their working relationship for good. During the writing of Young Frankenstein, Gene had strong ideas about how the movie should look and feel. He wanted more control over the script, the pacing, and the emotional tone. Mel, who was used to leading the creative process, felt like he was losing control. What started as small disagreements turned into loud arguments. They yelled, they walked out of meetings, and at one point, Mel was so upset that he broke down in tears. The pressure was heavy on both of them. They cared about the movie, but they clashed over every little detail. Gene was sensitive and passionate, while Mel was intense and emotional. It was a battle of 2 brilliant minds, both stubborn, both deeply invested. Eventually, they found a way to work together again, and Young Frankenstein became a classic. But the scars from that experience stayed. Mel once said in a private interview that working with Gene felt like falling in love and breaking up at the same time. Even though they made peace, the pain never fully faded. Mel respected Gene's talent, but he never forgot how much that creative war had hurt him on a personal level. Number 3. Dustin Hoffman. Mel Brooks saw something special in Dustin Hoffman before the world did. Back when Mel was casting for the producers, he offered Dustin the role of the nervous, panicked accountant Leo Bloom, a part that later made Gene Wilder a star. At the time, Dustin was still an unknown actor, struggling to find his big break. Mel believed in him and wanted to give him that chance. But everything changed. Overnight, just before filming began, Dustin got an offer for a different movie, The Graduate. It was a huge opportunity, and he took it. From a career point of view, it made perfect sense. The Graduate became a massive hit and turned Dustin into a Hollywood superstar. However, Mel felt betrayed. He had trusted Dustin, built plans around him, and believed they were going to create something great together. When Dustin walked away, it was not just about losing an actor, it felt personal. Mel had helped lift him up, and in return, Dustin chose someone else. Mel never publicly criticized Dustin, but those close to him say the hurt ran deep. He replaced him with Gene Wilder, and the film still became a classic. But that original wound left a mark. Mel reportedly stopped speaking to Dustin for years and avoided watching his films. To Mel, it was not just about business, it was about loyalty. And once that loyalty was broken, the bond was gone forever. Dustin Hoffman became another name on the quiet list of actors Mel could not forgive. Number 4. Dom DeLuise. Dom DeLuise and Mel Brooks had something rare, a natural comic rhythm. Dom appeared in many of Mel's films, including Silent Movie, History of the World, Part 1, and Robin Hood, Men in Tights. Audiences loved him, and Mel often called him one of the funniest men alive. For a while, they were not just colleagues, they were close friends who shared laughter both on and off the set. But over time, that friendship began to crack. Rumors in Hollywood hinted at growing tension between them. Dom was becoming more confident, and some say his confidence turned into ego. He started demanding more screen time, rewriting lines to make his parts funnier, and even showing up late to shoots. Mel, who valued creative collaboration, started feeling disrespected. The final straw reportedly came during the filming of Spaceballs. Dom, though, not a major character in that film, gave input where it was not needed and joked around too much when Mel needed focus. Mel felt that the playful energy they once shared had turned into disruption. Worse, he believed Dom was taking credit for scenes Mel had carefully written and directed. Their professional relationship quietly ended after that. They stopped working together, and their friendship slowly faded away. Mel never spoke badly of Dom in public, but he also never called him for another role. Behind closed doors, people close to Mel say he felt disappointed and hurt, like he had lost both a partner and a friend. Number 5. Madeline Kahn. Madeline Kahn was one of Mel Brooks' brightest stars. Her talent was unmatched. Her timing, her voice, her charm. She lit up the screen in films like Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein, and High Anxiety. Mel adored her, often calling her his muse. He wrote roles with her in mind, believing she could turn even the smallest part into comedy gold. But sometimes, even the strongest bonds break in silence. During the filming of High Anxiety, things took a turn. Madeline was going through personal stress, and her behavior on set started to change. She arrived late, seemed distracted, and argued over small details. At first, Mel was patient. He cared about her deeply and tried to support her through the tension. But then something happened that left him shaken. Madeline walked off set in the middle of production. Mel was stunned. He had never expected her to leave like that. The production was delayed, and he had to rewrite scenes to cover her absence. For someone as loyal and passionate as Mel, it felt like a betrayal, not just to the film, but to their friendship. Though they later worked together again, the relationship never returned to what it once was. The trust had been broken. Mel reportedly told a friend, "It hurt more than I let on." He did not hate Madeline, but the disappointment ran deep. It was not a loud fight or public drama, just quiet heartbreak between two artists who once brought magic to the screen. Number 6. Richard Pryor. Mel Brooks and Richard Pryor could have been a dream team. Mel admired Pryor's raw, fearless humor, and when he wrote Blazing Saddles, he wanted Richard to play the lead role of Sheriff Bart. It was perfect. Richard had helped write the script and added his sharp wit to many of the film's funniest moments, but just when everything seemed set, the studio stepped in. Warner Brothers refused to cast Richard Pryor. They claimed he was too risky, too controversial, and too unpredictable due to his struggles with substance abuse. Mel was devastated. He had fought for Richard, but the studio pushed back hard. In the end, Cleavon Little got the part, and while he did an amazing job, it was not what Mel had planned. Richard took it personally. He believed Mel had not fought hard enough for him. The rejection felt like betrayal, especially coming from someone he considered a friend. He later made jokes about it in his stand-up routines, but the pain behind those laughs was real. Mel, on the other hand, felt stuck between loyalty and the cold power of Hollywood. He always praised Richard's writing, but the tension between them never fully healed. They never worked together again after that film. It was a relationship filled with what could have been. Two comedy giants pulled apart by racism, studio politics, and quiet resentment. Mel never said he hated Richard, but the fallout from Blazing Saddles left a wound that never closed. Number 7. Harvey Korman. Harvey Korman was one of the most recognized faces in Mel Brooks movies. He played unforgettable roles in Blazing Saddles, High Anxiety, and History of the World, Part 1. His ability to blend slapstick with sarcasm made audiences laugh out loud. Mel saw something brilliant in Harvey, but brilliance came with baggage. Behind the scenes, Harvey had a reputation for being difficult. He was a seasoned comedy actor and came from a background where improvisation was key, but Mel Brooks was a perfectionist when it came to his scripts. He wanted every word, every pause, every reaction delivered exactly as written. That is where the problems began. Harvey often went off script, adding his own lines or changing the timing of scenes. Mel would get furious. He felt Harvey was trying to steal the spotlight, bending the story to suit himself rather than serving the film as a whole. During the filming of High Anxiety, things got especially tense. Mel reportedly shouted at him on set saying, "This is not your sketch show." Their creative visions no longer matched. Mel loved structure. Harvey loved freedom. What started as a powerful partnership became a clash of egos. Mel once admitted in private that Harvey's constant need for control drained the joy out of directing. Although they continued to work together for a time, the spark had faded. Mel stopped casting him in lead roles, slowly distancing himself. Behind the curtain, the laughter had turned to frustration, and that frustration never truly went away. Mel Brooks gave the world unforgettable comedy, but his journey was filled with personal heartbreak, deep scars, and broken bonds. Behind the laughter, there were moments of betrayal, clashing egos, and creative heartbreak that shaped how he saw certain actors. Some pushed him too far, while others simply hurt him in ways words could not fix. These 7 actors were not just names on a list, they were chapters in a life filled with both genius and pain. In the end, even legends like Mel Brooks carry grudges, and the reasons behind them tell stories as powerful as his films.